I don't go at anyone in my space. Like, I really don't. I don't play clips and then hate on folks. And I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm going to do it out of love. Some of you know the name SEC Mike. His name's Michael Bratton. I've been on his show before. I know the dude. Wonderful, lovely person. Got a very interesting cousin as well, but lovely person, okay? So the reason I say all that is because it's about to sound like we're trying to dunk on SEC Mike. I'm not trying to do that. Someone brought to my attention the other day that he had made some comments about Hugh Freeze and how Hugh Freeze is going about rebuilding things at Auburn. And he absolutely is rebuilding things at Auburn. And again, I love the guy. I have never heard 30 seconds of more wrong than I heard. Colin, just roll this. Let them hear it for themselves.
I'm not buying the hype. I don't like the way Hugh Freeze is going about this. I ain't spending $1 million on a quarterback, but you don't have to go to the dollar store to get a quarterback either, Hugh. I think his reputation is overblown because he beat Alabama twice. People forget that he lost to Vanderbilt twice in that same span. I think he is not an elite coach, and I don't like the way he's building it through high school. You could do that 4 or 5 years ago. I think you have to do it in the portal these days. I think there's a good chance heading into next season, Hugh Freeze is on one of the hotter seats in the SEC.
It's tough to listen to. So I'm going to walk through this as calmly as I can. I ain't spending $1 million on a quarterback, but you don't have to go to the dollar store either. Now, I assume this is in reference to the fact that they really didn't go out and drop big money for a quarterback in the portal. I actually thought that was a shrewd and sound approach from Hugh Freeze because I think they knew we're more than a quarterback away. So let's take the money that it would take, and they got folks who know what they're doing on that front behind the scenes at Auburn, I can promise you. And they said, let's go get as many big-time talents as we can, and let's stick with Pate and Thorne. I mean, we don't have poverty at the quarterback position now. We brought in one as a true freshman. Maybe he's the future, or maybe this time next year we go drop a pretty big bag for a quarterback that could make a difference in 2025. 2024, Auburn was not going to be a quarterback away from contending for the SEC, and they knew that. They knew that because of their entry point. They knew that because of what was on the team when they walked in, and it was not a good situation. And this year will still be a little bit of a learning curve, and you're going to have to take some lumps again this year. But also, I will address the other part of that. I'm not spending $1 million on a quarterback. Brother, you better. If you want a big-time quarterback, you better be ready to spend 7 figures on one. So I don't want to get all caught up on the first point because there were like 5 wrong points in this. Next, I think his reputation's overblown because he beat Bama twice. Well, he beat 2014 Bama that went on to win the SEC. He beat 2015 Bama that went on to win the SEC and the whole national title. That's a pretty good reputation builder. Now, he brought up that he lost twice to Vandy. He lost in his first and last seasons to Vandy. And I don't know many coaches out there outside of the literal best in America that don't have those upset blips on their radar screen, especially coaching at a place like Ole Miss. But, dude, absolutely his reputation is based nationally on beating Nick Saban twice. If that's so easy to do, roll out the list of the other ones that have done it. There aren't very many. There aren't very many at all. Third allegation. I don't want to call them allegations. They're just takes. Oh, boy, this one got me now. I poured some Tylenol out for this. I don't like the way he's building it through high school. You could do that 4 or 5 years ago. You have to do it through the portal these days. What? No. We're talking about how Hugh Freeze is not elite, apparently. Could you find me one elite coach, on or off the record, who tells you, yeah, screw high school recruiting, dude. We're doing this thing through the portal. Nobody's doing that. Even Kiffin's not actually doing that. Kiffin's even recruiting out of high school. They're just using the portal a little bit more. By the way, Freeze was 4th in the portal his first year there. So they have used the portal. But they shifted, as they should, as a sound-thinking coaching staff, towards leaning on high school recruiting. You want to know where you want to look to see a failed experiment along the lines of what we're suggesting here? Ask Lincoln Riley how much continuity he felt year 1 to year 2 to now year 3 of leaning on the portal too hard. And ask him what he's trying to do now. Ask him. He was doing an Adam Brenneman sit-down that I thought was really interesting this past week. How much did he talk about the portal versus how much did he talk about high school recruiting? The name of the game has not changed. You want to build a sustained winner, you're going to do it through high school recruiting, and you're going to fill holes, and you're going to put little cherries on top via the transfer portal, and maybe you treat the quarterback position different, maybe you don't, but nobody. Now, I don't care if it's 4 or 5 or 40 or 50 years ago. Nobody's doing it any different today to win championships than they were. The way you pay kids may be changing, and the way that you may be able to leverage that portal here and there may be a little more extreme than transfers in years gone by. There's no elite staff out there. Kirby Smart, DeBoer at Alabama, Ryan Day at Ohio State. You can point out the exceptions. You can point out the players they went and got out of the portal. No one's suggesting Auburn shouldn't do that. Get them on the record and ask them, you ready to forego old school, high school recruiting tactics and just lean on the portal? They'll laugh you out of the building. They'll ask how you got in the building. Also, I think Hugh Freeze is going to be one of the hotter seats in the SEC entering next season. I think they could go 7-5 this year, and his seat's not hot next year. Their over-under win total is 7.5. So that's where the FanDuel expectation is for Auburn. He's entering year 2 with a roster that was not SEC caliber when he got there. I'm just stating facts. Their entry point was pretty low. Relative to what you would expect an Auburn roster to be, it was really low. And I think most people know that. I think the fan base got that. They certainly got it. If they didn't know, they knew when they got there. They've recruited at a top 10 level. There's really good energy in the building there. They've got, and I can't stress this enough, they've got good minds behind the scenes. They got folks who understand how this thing works. I'm not saying it's a perfect operation. They've got their fair share of warts internally, just like anyone else does. They are equipping themselves to win long term. I actually have very little doubt about that. And so, again, I want to wrap this up by saying I love our buddy Michael Bratton. We'll probably see him at Media Days next month, and I will hug him just like I always do. But, man, we should talk about this. We should revisit this. I wish I had him in studio tonight. We should revisit this because that one floored me. I had Jesse play me the clip earlier today because one of you asked about it. Jesse, that was a 30-some-odd second clip. I think I had him pause it 5 times in 30 seconds. That's how much commentary that I had to give. So we said, why don't we just do this on the show?